about the image that we prayed in the collect. And that has to do not with fire, but with water. And the image is of streams of living water flowing from our hearts into the world, a thirsty world. And I had a wonderful image of what that might look like yesterday. Sarah Manley van Gulden was ordained yesterday in Boston along with 8 other people. And she is a young woman who worked for 8 years as the lay assistant here at St. Mark's. And many of you know and have come to love Sarah, as I certainly have. And to see her on her ordination day, standing there in her gentle authority, I can certainly imagine streams of living water flowing out of her heart into the people of Lynn, where she will be the assistant for the next 3 years. It was a wonderful, wonderful day and a wonderful image. So, how does that happen? How do we get to have streams of living water flowing from our hearts into a thirsty world? One of the key images of the Holy Spirit is that of Comforter. Comforter. And if our hearts are going to be open to God's love, God's loving Spirit flowing into the world, first, we need often to be comforted. Because if our hearts are troubled and closed, there's no way for the Spirit to flow. So the first thing is to be comforted. You have an image of when you were comforted or when you gave comfort. What's your strongest image? You can just look over there and see Duncan cuddled up with his mom. That's a good image. Duncan, I remember my first day of dropping my son Michael off at nursery school, and he was 4 years old, and we had just moved from South Africa to the United States. A long journey, it took 24 hours. And a couple of days later, I took Michael to the strange place that he'd never seen before and was dropping him off at school. And he's a pretty adventurous kid, you know, but this was a bit much for him. And he didn't want to go. And he was holding on to me. And so one of the best things I ever did as a parent, I think, was instead of ushering him off, I held him. And we just held each other for 2 or 3 minutes, I think. And at the end of that time, he had received enough comfort. And he sort of disengaged himself and off he went. Never looked back. It's an image of comfort. And I was receiving it as well as giving it. When we are deeply comforted, we are able to relax into the life that God gives us, and streams of living water can flow from us into the world. So how come we don't allow ourselves to be comforted very often? Because sometimes we don't. Another story, this time with my granddaughter, she's 9. And we were visiting recently in North Carolina, and we went for a walk with Sadie. Trish and I were walking, and she was on her scooter, one of these little inline scooters. And she was whizzing around. It was very athletic. And she was whizzing all the way up the hill. And she came down the hill at about 20 miles an hour. And she slowed down, and she did this sliding turn. And Tricia said something to her, and she got distracted. And just at the last moment, she fell. She fell quite hard. So we went to comfort her. She did not want to be comforted. She was hurt, but mostly she was mad and embarrassed. She lay there for a moment, then got back up on the scooter and just pedaled off. Didn't want to talk about it. So when's the last time you didn't want to be comforted? You were upset, you were sad, you were angry, but you did not want comfort. Thank you very much. Quite often, when people suffer a tragedy, in St. Mark's. Something happens, or somebody dies. It's hard for them to come back to church. Because what happens, you come to church, it's a place of comfort, you get to feel the comfort around you, so what do? You weep, right? There's tears, maybe there's sobbing. And you don't want to do that with other people around. You'd rather do it in the privacy of your own home. So, I understand that, but it's an experience of cutting oneself off from the availability of comfort. Because it's embarrassing. Like Sadie, you'd rather be able to handle life on your own. I'm all set. Thank you. So then, we attempt to live life on our own resources. And we turn off the switch, which allows God's loving energy to be flowing in us and through us. Thinking about my sister, I heard all these family stories. She's up in Vancouver. She's having IV antibiotics to try and get rid of the Lyme disease. She's staying with friends while this happens. And she describes sitting on the couch, having her friends cook for her, and she's not feeling well at all. And how difficult it is for her to simply be receiving, rather than participating in preparing the food and cleaning up. See, we have this desire to be useful, and the notion that if we are useful, we are valuable. But the image here is not if we're useful, we're valuable, but if we have our hearts open to whatever reality there is, we can receive God's comfort. And then God's comfort can flow into the world. Get that? It's if I'm connected to God, I can be useful. No, if I'm useful, I'm connected to God. It's the wrong way around. You turn the switch off. So, what are you being called to this day of Pentecost, this day where we celebrate the Holy Spirit? Are you being called to receive comfort? And if so, from whom? And how's that going to happen? What's the first step? And as you feel God's comfort, and as that switch in your heart opens, what's the living water that wants to flow? And where will it be directed? How together can we be like Sarah, standing in the full assurance of God's love for us, allowing that love flow through us into a thirsty world?